zone. When it's time for the moment, you already know. Flip the channel, hear that voice. Big stakes, big stage, one choice. From the coin toss to the last shot, he break it all down on the spot. Sideline swagger, zip up jacket. Notes in the pad, whole board mapped it. Every city, every loud crowd chanting. If the trophy on the line, he's standing. It's the KR Big Game Show. You feel that buzz soon as lights go. If it's win or lose, he gon' be there. Talking every play like fresh air. Bills Mafia riding, whole nation loud. Big smile steady in the tensest crowd. When the big game hit, he on call for show. It's the KR Big Game Show. KR in the zone. When it's time for the moment, you already know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the KR Big Game Show with your host, Big Game Kerry Reeves.
What is up, everybody? Good evening on this Tuesday night. Hopefully everybody's had a good weekend, enjoyed things, got to do things with your family and with your friends. Welcome to the Big Game Show. We got a lot to talk about this week, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We got a Super Bowl to talk about, the Olympics. We got college basketball, got some other stuff too, which is really going to be a lot to deal in. So get a chance to hit that chat box, hit that comment box, and you got a chance. I'm going to give you some time, about 5 minutes worth of time. And there's a link to, when you get lined up, I will be happy to bring you on for 5 minutes and enjoy life. Now, let's start off with this. Thank you for watching our Rebels with a Cause channel. We're still over 194 subscribers, under 20,000 views. Keep punching that like and sharing button to our cause so we can gain others to join it. And remember, the opinions and views of KR's Big Game Show are not of any organizations entirely. They are solely the RWAX families and guest and panelist views. And there's a line to join the chat box on the live. Get a chance to join us for 5 minutes to speak your piece. And once again, smash that like button and share us. We're going to have a fun time discussing things tonight. And let's start off things with the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 60 has come and gone with a blowout win by Seattle, 29-13. What were your takeaways from a game that wasn't close? Well, my takeaways was it wasn't close. Seattle's defense was as advertised. They showed up, they showed out, they hit Drake May every chance they got. The Patriots could never get anything going. And at one point during the game, they had no points going into the fourth quarter. It was a competitive mismatch from the word go. Seattle seemed like they just knew what New England was going to try to do, and they went out there, and their defense went out there and shut them down. Offensively, Kenneth Walker, what a star he has become in their last three playoff games. He's over 100 yards rushing in each game. Well-deserved most valuable player of the Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, tremendous performance. This game, not so much a good performance. He didn't make any mistakes. He didn't have to. He trusted his teammates. He trusted his defense, trusted his line, and they did a bang-up job. Confusing New England. Drake May was confused. He was hit. He was beaten. Will Campbell, who was your rookie offensive left tackle, had a terrible night. Drake May was pressured from his side alone 14 times that night. Terrible performance by the offensive line. New England could never really get anything going. And by the time they did get things going, it was mostly in garbage time. It was a lot like last year's Super Bowl when the Eagles were up 34-0 before the Chiefs actually showed up and got a lot of garbage points. Drake May's stats look okay, but a lot of them was in garbage time, man. And there's competitive phase of this game was over at 19-0. Seattle added a defensive touchdown. Their defense was very impressive. 6 sacks, a pick 6, 14 tackles for loss. They were in deep in New England's backfield all night long. It seemed like every time Drake May went back to breathe, there was a Seattle defender right next to him ready to wipe his nose every time he sneezed. It was that kind of performance. What a fantastic performance. Hope everybody had a chance to watch. If you were a fan, if you weren't a fan, that's great. And what a great present for Clint Kubiak. Called a really good game. And now 48 hours later today, he was introduced as the new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's got a lot to look forward to. He has hinted right now that he doesn't know what he's going to do with the number one pick, but that's really coach speak, because a lot of new coaches say that when they have the number one draft pick, we know where he will probably be going is Fernando Mendoza, but we'll see down the road has in these next 168 days before training camp. So we're going to see a lot of moves. We're going to see teams decide to jockey themselves for positions, see what's going on. And whatever happens is going to happen. Whatever happens, we'll report everything that is going to happen. What a night. What a night the Super Bowl was. Bad Bunny, terrific performance of Bad Bunny. I thought the performance of Bad Bunny at halftime was actually pretty good. He mixed it up quite a bit. Crowd was into it. People were dancing. And the music was really good. It wasn't out of bounds. It wasn't anything. There was hardly any technical problems. The music, everything went according to plan. Of course, in the middle of the early fourth quarter, you had your streakers. That two streakers come out and try to disrupt the game. And, of course, that didn't take very long for security. They never showed that, which is good. I thought the game played really well by Seattle, made New England look as bad as we thought they were going to be, and there was a football god, because you can't go 14-3 on a fourth-place schedule and get all the breaks that they've gotten and then expect you to walk into the Super Bowl thinking you had a chance to win from the first possession on. You could clearly see who was the better football team, and it was Seattle. They settled for field goals early. I still think if they had cashed a couple of those field goals in the early touchdowns, the game would have been even a bigger blowout than what it was, score-wise. Intensity-wise, everything else, you knew what was going on. Vrabel had no answers. Josh McDaniels had no answers. Their defensive coordinators have no answers for their offense. It was a complete mismatch from the word go. Cooper Kupp, his second Super Bowl title in this decade. In this decade, he has one with the Rams from 2021, and now he's with Seattle in 2026. Sam Darnold, great redemption story. Gone from seeing ghosts in New York to now seeing a championship, getting ready to see a big championship ring on his finger up in Seattle. And he went with Kenneth Walker to Disney World, where they did the MVP thing and had a good time as part of the ESPN handoff. What it was, the new ESPN handoff, they are now the lead coverage. They have next year's Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. We'll talk more about that as we go on. But right now we're heading into an off season, which is going to be very interesting. There's going to be certain dates with the new cap, with the new what the new salary cap is going to be, how teams are going to be able to maneuver and produce, what moves are going to be made by people, what quarterbacks are going to be on the move. We're going to find out a lot as we go on. Let's get to the commercials of this year's. This year's Super Bowl commercials were okay. There were some good ones. A lot of them used AI, which I really didn't understand. And the Haley Steinfeld commercial at State Farm was pretty good. And a couple of others. A lot of the commercials just didn't do anything for me this year. They didn't put me in the spirit of going out there and trying to find that product, trying to deliver that big thing this year. I know they paid a lot of money for these spots, but these were, they were okay. They weren't great, but you know what? It could have been better. It could have been worse. But if you have a chance to speak in, comment, hit that like and hit the comment box so I can hear people tonight and see people tonight and talk about what do you want to talk about. There's a link for the show link. If you get on, I will put you on for your 5 minutes and we could talk about almost anything that's going on. Let's get to college basketball. And it seems like things are really starting to heat up with college basketball. It's an interesting weekend. You got teams that are starting to separate themselves. Conferences starting to separate themselves. Right now, the Big 12 conference is the best conference in basketball. They are absolutely the best. I think the SEC is behind them, and I think the Big Ten's right behind them. Had some really upsets this week. You had 3, 4, and 5. You had Illinois, Duke, and UConn all upset this past weekend. And then last night, Arizona got upset by Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse in what was a fantastic basketball game. They may be playing each other at least 2 more times. I can see it in the next regular season game and then the Big 12 tournament, and who knows, the NCAA tournament, they may be seeing each other. But the action in the Big 12 so far, you got Arizona, Kansas, Houston, Iowa State. You got Texas Tech. You got Central Florida stepping up and beat somebody. You got some really good power teams in that conference that are really starting to do some damage. Illinois had a tough one in Michigan State. They were upset by Michigan State in what was a really good basketball game on Saturday night. What helped Illinois did not shoot the ball well, and Izzo is a defensive whiz in his specialty. He held them to 33% shooting from the field and about 36% from three-pointer. If you can do that with a balanced Illinois team, you got a shot to win. They've got great athletes, and the crowd was up and out. It was a lot of fun. And a lot of exciting atmosphere. They had to wait to rush the court twice. Don't know what happened the first time, but they ended up rushing the second time. And it wasn't really much of a rush, but Michigan State, Jason Fears, and that bunch played outstanding basketball and beat a very good Illinois team. I expect these two teams to be at least a top 1 seed or a top 2 seed in a region in the NCAA tournament. The surprising of the three was Duke. Duke going to North Carolina, rivalry game, anything can happen. We know the history with Duke and North Carolina. I think it's the best college basketball rivalry going right now because it seems like no matter what the records, the games are great. The game came down to the end, and North Carolina hit a three in the corner to win an outstanding game where Caleb Wilson played very well. Carlos Boozer Jr. played well. It was a great night if you're an NBA scout. There's a lot of good young talent on that basketball court, and they all performed very, very well. The atmosphere was incredible, and the ratings for that game were really, really solid after what they came out the other day. ESPN's one of the highest rated games ever. UConn Friday night. What was outflowing UConn on Friday night was at Madison Square Garden with St. John's, and St. John's just bully balled them. Beat UConn at their old game. They bully balled them into shooting 33% from the field. Bully balled them. St. John's out rebounded them, and that was the difference. They made it physical. They made it tough for a UConn team. And St. John's is trying to keep themselves involved in the championship picture in the Big East. And that's going to be a good race going down to the end with those two teams. UConn is a step back for them for a second. It'd be interesting that the top this week, I don't see a lot of movement changing in the top with these three teams because these three teams lost to very good teams. I even think Arizona will not leave number 1. I think they'll stay number 1 because I think they'll win their game this weekend. But we got some other teams out there keeping pace. Like I said, Iowa State, we got Kansas, Iowa State, we got Michigan still out there doing their job. Ohio State's trying to get themselves bump up into the picture, try to win themselves a couple games. The ACC is going good with Duke, North Carolina, Clemson still being strong. Miami being a young team. Give Jay Lucas a lot of credit. He's keeping that team important together. Bracketology is really going to start setting its forth. And this weekend is when the NCAA comes out with the top 16 seeded teams. It gives you a general idea of who could be in those top 16s. And if you're not in the top 16, it gives you a chance. If you're on the outside looking in, there's a chance you can get in. You know what you have to do. And let's get to Tennessee. I just don't understand with them in Kentucky this year. I don't get it. We've outplayed Kentucky there's 40 minutes in a game. For about 60 of the 80 minutes, Tennessee has outplayed Kentucky. It's those last 20 minutes in both of those games that Kentucky has somehow come back from a 17-point lead and a 14-point lead this past weekend when it seemed like Tennessee had everything in control. Late game execution for the Vols has just not been there. Has not been there all year. They've gotten away with it to a point with some lesser teams. Kentucky's inconsistencies have shown all year. You can get blown out by Gonzaga. You can go to Vanderbilt and get beat by 30, but then you have these 2 victories over Tennessee where you came back from 17 down, and then you have an impressive win over Arkansas. I just don't get it. I really don't. It's confusing. This team is too good, and there's just something there's something missing with this team. Don't know what it is, but there's something missing with this team. Well, they got to go to Mississippi State tomorrow night, and that's a tough place to play down at the Hump. It's a 9:00 tip off here, 8:00 tip off. There's a late night tip off in Mississippi. Tennessee's got to go there, get this out of their memory, and go to work and beat these guys, and just go in there and do the job and beat these guys and get ready for a good run for the rest of the time that they're there. College basketball is about to get even crazier when you're in the middle of February. Saturday will be the middle of February. Who'd seen that one coming? Middle of February. And college basketball is this hot, and now that football is on the back burner and everything is going really strong. Getting ready for an off season of football, which is going to be incredible. College basketball has suddenly jumped itself into the game, and it's going to be fun talking about it for the next few weeks. Let's get to another story, which I find this has been a story where everybody has really gone back and forth with what they should be. This has been a roller coaster in Alabama with Charles Bediako. He gets an injunction. He then loses the injunction. Last Friday in an Alabama circuit courtroom, he won his case. He won the case and he was ready to go set and play. He played against Auburn Saturday night. Monday morning came, and another Alabama circuit court judge, who apparently probably has nothing to do with the Alabama program, upheld the injunction that upheld the NCAA's initial decision to rule him eligible. At this point, he is ineligible for the rest of the year, and him and his team of lawyers are trying to figure out what's the next best option. The next best option for him is to head back into the pros. He knew exactly what he was getting into when he signed a 2-way contract to leave to go to the draft. Chancellor Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, talked about today, talking about common sense finally has ruled in this case. I'm sitting there going, where's common sense been when it comes to the NCAA for the last few years? You've had this kind of problem. We can't figure out who's eligible, who can't get eligible for football. It's a kid down at Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss, that should be eligible for football. That has got to go through another set of appeals. You got Joey Aguilar here at Tennessee, who just got an injunction, so right now he's able to play football for the Tennessee Volunteers. But then you didn't have no problem going through hoops last year for Diego Pavia, so he could play a 7th year. These guys are just looking for a 6th year. He got a 7th, and to me, that's not. And to me, you can't have what they say. It's by case. I don't agree. I think it's whoever greases. It seems like it's whoever greases palms the most when it comes to the NCAA and these judges and these people that up here that are ruling. And I just don't understand how the amateur status has changed so much, and not only because of NIL, but it's changed because of Congress has gotten themselves involved. There is no real leadership at the NCAA level, and it's frustrating. As a fan, you always and when I grew up, you always see NCAA legislation. You saw that the right moves were made, even if people didn't like them. The right moves were made. Now, all of a sudden, nobody's making the right moves. Nobody's happy with any moves that the NCAA has made, and it seems like everybody's just protecting themselves. And to me, that's not going to cut it. That is not going to cut it. Protecting themselves is not going to be an option anymore, because at the point we are heading towards an end of the NCAA, I believe that there's going to be 2 super conferences, and they're going to end up governing their own rules, having their own playoff, having their own championships. It's just nuts how the NCAA has really let this thing go from up here down to here, and it seems like it's sinking every single second we get. And it's a sad case for amateur athletes, for real amateur athletes that are there just to get an education, that are there to get an education and also play, but because they love the game, it's not about the money. They're the ones that loses out of this deal. They're the losers out of this deal. And I just realized we had National Signing Day last week, and that used to be one of the big days of college athletics all year, is big National Signing Day. You found out where the big recruits were. It's disappeared. It's like nobody has National Signing Day anymore, except you see the local schools here, but it's not the same. It's not the same to talk about who's coming in, who's doing this, who's doing that. The transfer portal has taken a lot of the fun out of National Signing Day because the guessing game is done. once teams get who they need, it becomes a guessing game. It doesn't even become a guessing game for youngsters to come in and say, hey, I want to sign here. Usually that's a big deal. No. Hey, I'm going to sign. I'm a 5-star receiver. I'm going to give my talents to the university, like the University of Florida. Nope. No news. No news. Don't even know who's at top of the services. I don't even know who's at top of the recruiting services. And it's just absolutely terrible. Just absolutely terrible for the kids that are really there to have fun and play the game. And people would come, hit the chat box up, hit the comment box up, say hi to me, whatever. Have some fun tonight. The Winter Olympics, the opening ceremonies on that Friday night was absolutely fantastic. But there's been a lot of news for it being not even a week old yet. We've had that horrific injury by Lindsey Vonn on Super Bowl Sunday morning, her flying down the slope. That was not pretty to watch. It turns out she tore her tibia completely apart. They had surgery and she said she's doing fine. And she's also said that her prior injuries had nothing to do with what happened to this injury, which I find very interesting, but it doesn't surprise me because probably the stress from that, I say some stress from that injury caused this other injury. That fall was just you couldn't watch it. I saw it one time. I'm like, I can't watch anymore. Thank you to NBC, because NBC did not show it over and over and over and over. They limited it to a couple of times, and they basically let you figure out how bad that it was. So far, you got that. You got the U.S. women's hockey team that is going super strong. I mean, they've given up one goal in 3 early round games, that even today with a beat down of Canada. One of the most highly anticipated games of the women's side of hockey was a one-sided beatdown by the U.S. 5-0 over Canada. Very impressive by this ladies team. You got 16 ladies that have been on this team before, and you got 8 brand new ones that are actually playing college hockey. That their teams are taking a break so they can finish the college hockey and then they can get themselves back in after the Olympics is over. It seems like they're a well-oiled machine. Everybody from coach, players, goalie, everything is just working well. They're absolutely having a blast time. I expect them by next week to be in a gold medal game and probably win another gold medal at the Olympics for them. And speaking of another hockey, the U.S. men's team, the highly touted professional U.S. men's team, gets their first action underway Thursday against Lithuania, which should be a warm-up for Team USA to go in and do their job. They're a highly favorite to win the gold medal. It would be the first U.S. men's hockey gold medal in 46 years. Last time was 1980, the Miracle on Ice team. I was only 9 years old when that happened, and that was I still remember those memories vividly, and they were fantastic. It was amazing. And you'll get to see everything live, because back in those days when I watched the Olympics, you had to wait till they taped everything. You had to wait till that night to see what was going on. So some people knew the result. The only people that knew the result back then when we beat the Russians in 1980 was the people who were there at the arena. The rest of the world had to wait for television that night. But what a performance. What a performance by the U.S. women's hockey team. Looking forward to the men's team. The figure skating has been really great. The team competition, we lost the team competition to Japan, but we got a silver medal out of that deal. And now the men's program is going, and I think one of our guys is in first place with the men's program going. It's absolutely outstanding. And we got curling. The mixed doubles curling was today, and our married couple, lost in a close one, 6-5, and took home the silver medal. Biggest honor for mixed curling ever, the highest placement ever for mixed curling, and it was the Corey and Corey show, and they ended up with a silver medal, which was absolutely outstanding. They brought a lot of attention to curling, being a married couple. They were fun to watch. I had a chance to watch 3 of their matches, and they were absolutely amazing. Team curling will start getting going soon, and that'll be fun and competitive, especially the men, because your favorites on the men's side, you got U.S., you got Canada, you got Slovenia, and you got the host country, Italy. Italy's always going to find a way to be around in competition like this. The skiing, you got the slaloms going. big Sur snowboard. You got a lot of the outdoor events are going on right now, and then that'll wind down with a lot of the indoor stuff going next week with speed skating, biathlon, different speed skating like the 500, the 1,000, the 5,000. You got all those kinds. You got the hockey going on. The Olympics has been fantastic. What have your thoughts been about the coverage of the Olympics? I think the coverage has been absolutely outstanding. NBC's done a really good job of showing you what is hot, what's important, and even in their tape shows at night, they're going back and showing everything that's happened in case you missed it, which is a lot of people, because I'm sure people are at work having a chance to check and everything, see what's going on. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been so much the pleasure to see so far. The coverage has been great. The numbers have been great. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what else is there with the U.S. coverage, how everything is going to end up going. And I see another big bit of story news today. Indiana University has finally decided outside their basketball arena to put up a statue of Robert Montgomery Knight. Robert Montgomery Knight, on the surface, one of the greatest coaches in the history of college basketball. Beneath the surface was one of the biggest jerks in the history of college basketball. This guy, there's not a player that he didn't lay a hand on. There's not a reporter that he didn't cuss out. There's not anybody that I just seem like at times he just didn't like anybody or how people liked him. I just never understood. And this man was a mentor to Mike Krzyzewski, who ended up coaching at Army and coaching at Duke. Still trying to figure out what he saw in him as a mentor, and see how everything was going solidly and right out the track. Let's see. And let's go to my big games this week. Let's see if the chat line is up. Comment. Nobody's commented tonight. I guess everybody's off or anybody's just have other things to do, which is fine. This show is going to be on tape for everybody to watch. You can like and hit the subscribe and comment afterwards. It's been a lot of fun. There's a lot of big games coming up this weekend. College basketball stays unbelievably busy. And you got Saturday, you got Clemson and Duke. You got Kansas and Iowa State, which is a big one. You got St. John's and Providence, which is a big one. You got A&M and Vanderbilt. Kentucky and Florida are going to battle each other. Texas Tech goes to Arizona. That's going to be a war. Auburn and Arkansas is going to be a war that night on ESPN Saturday night. And Gonzaga goes to Santa Clara. See how they rebound from that weekend loss last week. A lot of big games going on. Sports world's a little bare right now because there's no hockey going on. The NBA is still going strong with the All-Star game coming this weekend, which will be a lot of fun. Had a fight last night in Detroit in Charlotte with the Hornets and the Pistons. And I wouldn't call it much of a fight. I call it more of people just gathering and saying crap and everything else, because there's ended up like 9 people ejected. They haven't come out with the fines yet, but they will come out with the fines. And that should be a pretty interesting set of fines when they come out with what comes out of that deal. In other crazy news, if you haven't heard the story about what James Pierce, he's defensive end, he's Evolve for life, and he is a member of the Atlanta Falcons. He was part of the finalists for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Since the NFL Honors Award, this man has been arrested on 7 different felony counts, including stalking, domestic violence, you name it. He's done it. He tried to outrun police officers from northern Florida to southern Georgia, and they caught him down in just past the Georgia-Florida line. He's suffering. He's going through this is bad. This is bad. And the more stuff that's coming out now that is proven, his case is looking worse and worse for him. He's got a lot to deal with. He's going to have to. Football's on the back burner right now. He may not have a career after all this is done, because if he goes to jail, his career is over. His base is basically over. His career if he ends up going to jail. And James Pierce, it's just a waste of what a great talent he is. But not everybody's got it together up there, man. And he's got to get it together up there before he can do anything else out there in the field or in his life. He's just got to get that together, because right now, young man, domestic violence, not a good state of affairs for anybody that's going on right now. And let's see, comment box, anybody say hello tonight? No one is. And I got the show link right now. If you want to come on for 5 minutes, if you're watching the show and you see the link, you could come on for about 5 minutes and we talk about whatever you want to talk about. Everything is just putting themselves out there together. We're also looking at baseball. College baseball is getting ready to get themselves together. Spring training starts up in a couple of weeks for the pros. College actually starts at the end of the month. So college baseball will start at the end of the month. Excited about it around here with the new head coach here, Josh Elander. You got a great support system getting ready to set up with the new stadium, with Tennessee Stadium all finally being done, finally being constructed, done, ready to go. It's going to be a fun year. Tennessee's been picked as one of 8 teams with a chance to win the national championship. LSU being, of course, being the favorite, being one of the obvious favorites, along with Texas, with SEC's got baseball covered, so it's going to be a fun year with baseball. Miami's up there for a national championship. Going to be a lot of fun to see college baseball really get going when basketball really starts settling down. And guys, that is it for me. Since we don't have any comments or anything else, I appreciate whoever's watching. Thank you tonight. You get a chance, like and subscribe to Button. Like and subscribe and check us out tonight. And thank you for watching. And always know, when I speak it's a big game. Oh, by the way, join us tomorrow night. There's going to be a limited bunch of us tomorrow night for our Rebels with a Cause at 9:30. I'm going to get that together as soon as we get chance to leave this tonight. Thank you guys for coming on tonight. Thank you for watching tonight, and thank you. And always know it's a big game. When big game's on the line, you know it's there. I'll catch you tomorrow night.
Yeah. KR in the zone. When it's time for the moment, you already know. Flip the channel. Hear that voice. Big stakes, big stage, one choice. From the coin toss to the last shot, he break it all down on the spot. Sideline swagger, zip up jacket, notes in the pad, whole board mapped it. Every city, every loud crowd chanting. If the trophy on the line, he's standing. It's the KR Big Game Show. You feel that buzz soon as lights go. If it's win or lose, he gon' be there. Talking every play like fresh air. Bills Mafia riding, whole nation loud. Big smile steady in the tensest crowd. When the big game hit, he don't call for show. It's the KR Big Game Show. KR in the zone. When it's time for the moment, you already know.
Ladies and gentlemen, the KR Big Game Show with your host, Big Game Kerry Reeves.